We cannot create a new future by holding on to the emotions of the past. The hormones of stress in the long term push the genetic buttons that create disease. The hormones of stress make us feel separate from possibility of learning, creation, and trust. You have to feel empowered for your success to show up. You have to feel abundant for your wealth to find you. You have to feel gratitude to create the life that you want. By itself, conscious positive thinking cannot overcome subconscious negative feelings. If you can't get beyond your stress, your problems, and your pain, you can't create a new future where those things don't exist. We can't create a new future while we're living in our past. Most people wait for something outside of them to change how they feel inside. An emotion from a past experience is the chemical residue of the past. The hardest part is to teach our body emotionally what the future will feel like ahead of the actual experience. The emotion is the handmaiden to the creative process. When you feel an emotion, you can ultimately bypass your neocortex, the seat of your subconscious mind, and activate your autonomic nervous system. Therefore, as you get beyond your thinking brain, you move into a part of the brain where your health is regulated, maintained, and executed. The latest research in neuroscience says that you can change your brain just by thinking. Learning is forming new connections in the brain, and memory is maintaining and sustaining those connections. The moment we accept that the internal world has an effect on the external world, we have to begin to use the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe gives us the privilege to make thought more real than anything. Every time we have a thought, we make a chemical. If we have good thoughts, then we make chemicals that make us feel good. And if we have negative thoughts, we make chemicals that make us feel exactly the way we are thinking. You can change your brain just by thinking differently. We can mold and shape our brain by paying attention. If we can hold on to an idea, we begin to wire and shape our brain. It's true that our brain is shaped and molded by our environment, but what science is beginning to realize is that our brain is shaped and molded by our ability to pay attention. Spend time contemplating who you want to be. The mere process of contemplating who you want to be begins to change your brain. Remind yourself every day who you want to be, and you will cause your brain to fire in new sequences, in new patterns, in new combinations. And whenever you make your brain work differently, you are changing your mind. To truly change is to think greater than your environment, to think greater than the circumstances in your life. Does the brain see or do the eyes see? If the brain sees, then we can only perceive reality based on what we have wired into our brain. Conscious thoughts repeated often enough become unconscious thinking. Your thoughts have consequences so great that they create your reality. Turn your brain from a record of the past into a map of the future. Where we put our awareness and for how long maps our destiny. People who live in the past are asleep in the present. If we have very strong beliefs about something, evidence to the contrary could be sitting right in front of us, but we may not see it because what we perceive is entirely different. If you can't control your mind, everything and everyone else will. We don't perceive things the way they are. We perceive things the way we are. The process of change requires you becoming conscious of your unconscious self. Like clay, the energy of infinite possibilities is shaped by your consciousness, your mind. When you change your energy, you change your life. The only way we can change our lives is to change our energy, to change the electromagnetic field we are constantly broadcasting. When you choose to prove to yourself how powerful you really are, you have no idea who you will be helping in the future. Reality is not one continuous, consistent stream, but is instead a field of infinite possibilities over which we can exert enormous influence. That is, if we tune into the proper levels of mind. When you believe in yourself, you believe in possibility. You can't have one without the other. Most people wait for crisis or trauma before they make up their mind to change. My message is, why wait? You can learn and change in a state of suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration.